must employees retire? Oh, what a big question. In law, the Basic Conditions of Employment Act does not prescribe an age for retirement, which leaves this wide open for employers to decide. Also, for those who want to retire, when is the right time? Joining us is Clement Makhaza from Public Wealth Services. He's a director there. Good to have you. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Len. Thank you for having us.
Am I mistaken in saying that in our law, 65 is the official retirement age?
Well, the law is quite flexible in terms of retirement age. The basic conditions of employment will be dependent on what the rules of the particular retirement fund say. You get different retirement ages for different sort of working sectors.
So is it basically a company at this point will decide, okay, our workers 65, that is the retirement age. But is that the general age that we're looking at?
Yes, 60, 65 will be the general norm.
60, I mean, if you think about that, I mean, you have so much to offer at 60 to go on to retirement.
That is so true, but not only that, people tend to live longer after retirement due to advances in medical, healthcare, and general better conditions of living than 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, what is the benchmark that companies actually use to determine the retirement age? Well,
that's more sectoral than any prescribed benchmark. Generally, one will be guided by the Income Tax Act, the Pension Fund Act, which stipulates the minimum retirement age to be 55.
Yeah.
However, each sector will then say, because of the kind of work that our workers do, our retirement age will be 60 or 65. So that's quite variable.
If I'm not sure, but does an employee have any recourse to persuade a company to allow them to continue, or is that cast in stone?
Unfortunately, in most cases, that is cast in stone.
Okay.
The rules of the fund, once they are set at 60 or 65, then the employee has to abide by the rules.
What about the gender discrimination? I mean, you'll find that perhaps some companies even have, for women it's this age, for men it's that age. Do they have a case to fight discrimination?
Fortunately, the law has taken care of that gender discrimination. Retirement age is the same for both males and females in the workplace.
Yeah. We look at the fact that people are living longer.
Yes.
You mentioned that right in the beginning. I mean, I actually don't know. What would the statistics show these days?
Well, according to the South African actuarial mortality tables, someone retiring at 65 for a male, they will expect to live at least another 25 years.
Sure.
And for ladies, it's a bit longer, up to about 30 years after retirement at 65.
Is it possible to live for 30 years without working? Even if you save, if you are diligent, you save, you're a guy, you know this, you're from private wealth and you tell us what to do with our money. But for 30 years after retirement, can you lead a comfortable life with medical aid if you save properly? Is it possible?
It is possible, but however, let me point out the stats to you. Only 6% are able to maintain their lifestyle prior to retirement when they actually retire.
Yeah.
The majority of people are forced to continue working or rely on their families for financial support, which is the sad part.
And that's the problem.
Yes.
6% can actually keep up the
lifestyle. Only mere
6%. And that's, I mean, you know, we've got to look after the elderly here in the country, which I suppose is a lesson for young employees going in now. Because, you know, once you get your job, you want to get a fancy phone, you want to buy a big flashy car, you want to buy a lovely fancy house. And saving is the last thing you think of because you've still got a long life ahead of you. But that's not the way to think, is it?
It is definitely not. You see, what happens is people think they'll work for infinite. However, one's paid days are unnumbered. So if you start working at 20, you've got a longer working life. However, if you start working at 30, your paid days are shortened by 10 years. So one needs to take that into cognizance and have a financial plan in place to ensure that they retire financially well off.
Yeah.
That is why it is important for employer organizations to engage service providers like Public Wealth Services to help their employees prepare for a good financial life after retirement.
How much of your income should you save?
Good question. It all starts with budgeting, really, and with a financial plan. But the general rule of thumb is anything between 10 and 15%.
10 to 15%?
Yes.
That's how much
Yes.
you should put aside for
Yes.
saving?
As a minimum.
Okay, of your salary. Thank you for
Yes.
talking to us here on the program.
Thank
It's
you
a
so much,
sensitive
Tina.
issue, but it's a real issue. Clement Makhaza is a director from Public Work Services, talking to us about the retirement age here in South Africa, but most importantly, the fact that you need to save for that retirement. And it's a very difficult time if you haven't saved. All right, let's take a break.